Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So over the course of the years, we've covered many frustrating and depressing topics on this channel. However, today's topic is definitely up there because it involves another situation where real life people are being hurt over fictional content. It involves a topic we have covered multiple times over the past 2 months, and that is the horror game, The Coffin of Andy and Leyley. Now here is the latest development. This is all happening over the past 24 hours. It appears that the developer of The Coffin of Andy and Leyley has sold the game's title and terminated her entire online presence. And many people have reasonably assumed that this is the result of the torrent of harassment that this developer has faced on social media over the past 2 months, as well as being allegedly doxxed over the past day or so. And this is a very frustrating set of developments. A lot of people have been tagging me with it in any tweets that are relating to this. And before we get into the actual announcement from the new publisher that has taken over this title, let's inform or remind ourselves as to why there's so much controversy surrounding this game. So about 2 months ago, the horror game, The Coffin of Andy and Leyley, was released onto Steam. This was an independently developed game, and over the course of time, this has been a massive success. Over $2 million in revenue has been generated, and there is a 97% overwhelmingly positive set of reviews on this game out of the over 8,000 reviews left by people who purchased this game. And the reason Twitter is angry about this has nothing to do with other horror elements in this game, like cannibalism, murder, satanic worship, and so on. They're mad that at the end of the game, there is an optional route that includes incest between these two characters. Now, after playing every single second of this route on stream, I can speak from experience as to what that scene was all about. Number one, and of course, part of this time was inflated because I was talking to the chat, but it took over 6 hours of gameplay to even reach this optional route. And when it is presented as a vision of the future, as a warning as to bad things that are going to happen if their toxic relationship continues. It is sent as a warning, and it is in no way glorified or showed as something good. It is shown as a bad ending, and it's supposed to make you uncomfortable, just like other traditional horror elements. But that didn't stop anyone from harassing people who developed the game, people who are fans of the game, or even artists like this who are making memes based on the game and its positive reviews on Steam. Now, I think this quote from back in October really sums up the outrage on Twitter really well. It's basically saying that despite this 98% positive rating on Steam, you would look at Twitter and you would think this game must be horrible and everyone hates it. And it's only sold 10 copies at this point because there are many viral tweets dunking on this game that don't reflect the actual experience of people playing the game. And you have more benign ones like this saying this incest game is starting to get on my nerves with, over 30,000 likes on this tweet. You have ones like this saying 98% positive because 2 people actually played it and rated it, while the other 9 of the entire user base rated high to own the libs. Yes, over 8,000 people purchased this game and played it just so they could give an overwhelmingly positive rating on it. Yeah, that definitely happened. But you have more direct threats like this. There was endless threats. You can check out my other videos on this to get more of these. But just here's some examples of the stuff that people were saying about the developer of this game. Saying, not gonna lie, beat the F out of the dev and everyone who supported this stuff. Well, the dev can get his house nuked. My honest reaction, of course, this user is pulling out a gun. This person saying, no way, they got Epstein making games. This person saying, how long do you think it'll take for the dev to be outed as a sex offender? I give it 4 months. And I covered a lot of these, like I said, in some of my videos. And I will say from my personal experience going through this video and the accompanying ones, I have never received more hostility on social media than anything involving these videos, okay? And I've covered a lot of controversial topics. I've gotten under the skin of a lot of people over the years, but nothing quite like this. The amount of death threats and harassment and false allegations I got out of this was insane. Just by me questioning why Twitter is freaking out about this one optional route and is okay with other themes like cannibalism and so on. And that was enough to cause a torrent of hate across social media. But nonetheless, here we are at the update. This has all happened over the past 24 hours, and a lot of people are talking about this situation because it is just about as bad of an ending as we could have gotten to this whole game and its success. And this is the unfortunate ending to an ongoing series, by the way. There is a part 3 of this game to come out, and it's supposed to come out in the next month or so. So let's read the actual statement. So a publisher named Kit9 purchased the title of this game, and this is their statement on Steam. It says, as per request from the primary developer, Kit9 Studio has acquired the title The Coffin of Andy and Leyley. Our team of freelancers will handle the programming, community management, customer support, business contacts, and legal disputes. The original developer will continue providing the art and story. We will do our best to support them as they create the game they want to create. On a sadder note, the developer has decided to permanently and completely terminate their activities online from here on. The best way to show your support is by focusing your discussions towards the game and not the developer. They wish to be left alone. There will be no communications or information forwarded to the developer from this point onward. They are choosing to remain completely in the dark and to continue their work happily offline. Other than Kit9 Studio stepping into the role of owner and publisher, the developer of The Coffin of Andy and Leyley will continue to proceed with no change in plans. The devlog for December will still be delivered as originally promised, and there will be the final words from the developer. All future game announcements afterwards will be handled by Kit9 Studio. Going forward, discussions outside this thread about the developers of this project are considered off topic and will be removed. Now, the important thing to look at here, let's start with the positives, okay? If there can really be positives. The developer who was responsible for the entirety of the first 2 episodes of this game will continue and lead this story for the final 3rd part, which is a good thing. They're going to be very well involved. And also on the positive, it looks like Kit9 is doing a very good job of wanting to support the existing project and basically be there as an assist to the developer as she continues working on this game offline. And they're basically taking the public role of owning it. And that is a good thing. But the obvious bad in this is that the people who are harassing this person, they in a sense won. They were silent. They silenced this developer and forced them offline. And it's a mix of the harassment and the alleged doxing that led to this. And it has driven them off of the internet entirely. And it's completely and utterly disgusting behavior. Okay? All of this boils down to an optional route in a fictional setting from a video game. And this person was hurt. They were harmed as a person and even had their safety allegedly put at risk because of the doxing because of this. And it's so insane to see people not only justifying this, but celebrating how this all went down. When they could have seen this game that they didn't like containing themes they didn't like in a fictional setting, they could have just moved on. That's all they could have done. And also people have pointed out that there are other sites like this one right here, which is a site that independent developers use to sell their game. The developer has completely wiped their presence off of that as well, including their former games. So they are completely off the grid in terms of the internet. They have removed all of these things, not just from an aspect of being present online, but also business opportunities. They are removing things like their former games as well and options to buy them. It's a really messed up situation. And in terms of my tweet, I really didn't get much hostility on just my simple report of what happened. But there was one tweet in particular I wanted to point out. It was the only one I responded to. And to make a long story short, you have an artist, in particular a furry artist, saying, actually, I think normalizing incest is bad. Call it a hot take. To the degree people should rightfully respond to the creator, I do not know. But I'm not going to complain that this happened to them. Yes, this person is having a moral quandary of whether it's right or not to dox someone and put their personal safety at risk because of themes in a video game. Now, I would go back and forth with this person, and eventually it proved pretty quickly that it was going nowhere. But to sum up some of the things they're trying to say as a justification is that this is presented in a way that encourages people in real life to imitate it. And not only does the game not glorify that optional route, it is not the job of the developer to tell full-grown adults that themes like that are bad. Just like they don't have to tell you the cannibalism and murder in that game is bad, they don't need to tell you this optional route is bad either for a competent adult to understand that that is not a promotion of those things as real-life counterparts. And this would just go on, and you know, again, this is a furry artist. Like, do you really want these normalization standards in terms of fictional content to apply to the artwork that you make? It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's frustrating to see, and it's always extra frustrating when it involves artists saying things like this. At the end of the day, I don't care how problematic you think this fictional content is, nobody should be harmed in real life. That just makes no sense. There is no way you can justify that without sounding like a completely unreasonable person, and these threads and reactions to this sort of a situation are just eye-opening and disgusting. But at the end of the day, this is a very sad ending to a very successful game, okay? I am one of many people believing that this game was snubbed in terms of recognition, especially from gaming journalists and game awards and things like that. It's been completely ignored. And that likely is because of the negative reaction on Twitter, which apparently in the eyes of, you know, gaming journalists, for example, outweighs the actual content and the actual tangible success of this game. And here you have an independent creator having massive success by themselves, and it doesn't get recognized. In fact, it gets punished by a bunch of weirdos online. But that's going to do it for this video. I look forward to the final part of the Coffin of Andy and Leyley being released, and I hope it stays true to the vision of the original developer. But yeah, sad situation today, so please share all of your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.